Hello, welcome to Coach Coffee with Coach Caffey. We're glad to be back with you. We've been off for a couple of weeks, or I guess a whole month now, and so we are enjoying retirement. And the best thing I guess is Sunday night. I don't feel very pressured up about what I'm going to do on Monday, and but we are, going through an adjustment period in our lives, and I think it's only common most people would. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things today that I've been thinking about. One is this that I've had on my desk for a good while. I actually got this saying from Spring Lake Earth's field house when I first went there, and I don't know what coach left it there for us. It was a big poster inside of our field house. But I thought it was very appropriate for my philosophy of coaching and why, I felt like that I was successful as a coach. Ronnie Oldham is the author of this, and he said, "Excellence is the result of caring more than others think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible." I think back, several places I went. When I went to Spring Lake Earth, my goal there was to build them into the best team in the state, win a state championship. That's really what. And so when I went there, they'd averaged about 3 wins a season under the previous head coach, and when I first got there, we lost a lot of games, but we climbed where we were the number 1 ranked team in the state, and so I was very proud of that. We stumbled in the semifinals and ended up going 13-2, but I think we cared a lot for those kids, and the kids knew it, and so I think that was one of the things. We risk a little bit by going to a school like that. There's a risk. You might not get it turned around. You might not win. You may have to take a step back if you're not able to do that. For me to say we're going to win state at Spring Lake Earth when I first went there, most wouldn't think that was practical. But for me it was. I could see the possibilities and expecting more than others think is possible. Same deal when I went to Brentwood Christian. My stated goal there to those kids was we're going to build that into the best football program in the city of Austin. They looked at me like, "Coach, you're crazy. We only have about 8 football players here." But we did. We became one of the most respected football teams in private school anyway in Austin. And I don't think that that's a finished job yet. I think Coach Washington's going to continue that on. So anyway, I want to share that with you, and I want to share a few things from this book called The Pursuit. It's my purpose. I didn't have much of a purpose when I retired. I don't like to fish, and I don't like to golf. Coaching's always been my hobby, so I thought I would do a little men's ministry. And so I've dabbled in that, and that's part of the reason I got involved in this. And I read that book and I read a daily devotional nearly every day by Joe Pettigrew. And so it was very inspirational to me usually. And so I decided I was going to buy that series and maybe be able to use it to help encourage men, because I feel like men are being marginalized in society right now, and they need to be encouraged. What do you want to do when you grow up? That's what a lot of kids are asked, Well, some of them want to be a fireman, some of them want to be a doctor, some of them want to be ranchers or whatever, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I was growing up. I really wasn't sure I wanted to coach until my wife talked me into it and told me that that's what she thought I should do, and she was right. And a lot of people, that the profession they choose is what their passion in life is. Our job is our passion, and so oftentimes in coaching, we get too tied up in that, and winning and losing becomes our passion. And if we're not successful on the scoreboard, then we're losers. And so I think that you need to examine what your reason for living is. Matthew 22:36-40, the commandment by Jesus is love God and serve Him first. Love and help others. How about that? It doesn't say anything about your job in there, does it? It just says love God, serve Him first, and then love and help others. That's your purpose. And if you put that as your purpose, then I think you can find happiness in it. In Romans 13:4 it says, "For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for the rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer." I think sometimes we unwisely want to disobey the authorities, and so those guys, they wield that power for a reason, and because God put them in those positions, and you have to be careful about if your boss tells you something, I think you need to really consider that you might ought to do that. And so I remember Gary Gaines. He had something, and I think I always use this philosophy. If you don't like it here, keep your mouth shut and move on. Because really, by tearing down everybody in a situation, I don't see any advantage in that. Like in the school business, you tear down the people that are there, as you leave, you burn your bridges. There's nothing good that's going to come out of that. A lot of times we run or we compete for that perishable wreath. We try to do things that are temporarily satisfying, winning games or making money or whatever, and those things perish. I still remember a trophy that I got as a sophomore in college. I got the Best Blocker Award. And man, I was so proud of that. It was a complete surprise to me. I didn't even know they were going to give that award. And so, for a long time I hung that trophy on my wall, and